Well, all right, all right, all right. If you are watching this, I first want to say thank you so much for tuning in. This is my very first one, and I still feel so awkward talking to the camera. I don't know if I should look at the screen or the camera, so I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm probably looking around elsewhere. So, I'm probably not going to edit this video either because I'm not there yet. And this is purposeful with pure intention. I don't want to make it look like something I'm not yet. For me, being vulnerable is what it's all about. That's where I learned my greatest lessons, and I believe that it could be universal for everyone. So I'm gonna talk about this. This first video is gonna be about what it means to be woke. For me personally, because that's the experience that I have to go off of. And, everybody, I encourage everybody to consider for themselves what it means. Just because it means this for me doesn't mean that it has to mean the same universally for everybody across the board, because we're not all having the same experiences. So it shouldn't mean the same thing for everybody. I'm not really going to go into what woke me up per se, but for the purpose of this, at least, just to me, what it means to be woke. So I guess, I'm sweating now, so that means it's a good thing. I'll just go ahead and get going because I'm going to have a lot of ums and ahs, and I'm not going to edit this. Like I said, I'm a big believer in, vulnerability, and a baby has to learn how to crawl before they can run. And so this is me essentially crawling into my purpose, crawling into my destiny, if you will, or fate, whatever you want to call it. For me, being woke means stepping into my spirituality. Of course, I knew about, energies and, universal extensions and manifesting and meditation and calling it into existence and everything else that you could think of that has a spiritual connotation to it. I believed in all that. I knew about it, but not in this way, not in the way that I've come to understand it in the past week or so. And that's really what it was. It felt like an overnight transformation. And as I began to open my eyes and see beyond what I was being shown, that's when I really started to feel an awakening all throughout my body, all my senses, my clarity, just the synchronicities that I believe are happening every day, all day, but we don't really pay attention to them because it's just kind of like part of life. All of these little things happen when we deem them as, oh, we got lucky there, or, good thing they didn't find out, or else, that wouldn't have happened for you or wouldn't have worked out for you. But, I think jinxing and manifesting gets a little twisted. So that'll be for another video. Actually, I wrote that down as a topic to talk about. I have a long list of topics going for videos to do on this channel, but I'm completely 1,000%, and I'm welcoming to any and all suggestions. Things that you might be struggling with, questions that you might have. Maybe if I get enough questions, I'll be able to do a video where I just answer all of the questions, which would be great as well. When people question me on these things, it helps me to polish up my own understanding of it, dig deeper into what I feel about it or what I believe and where I got those, foundational beliefs from and that understanding. I'm a big proponent in questioning everything. Obviously, if your parents are telling you to go to bed, whatever. If you're at that age, it's good for you to, to heed the direction of the people in charge of you. But I digress on that. I don't want to speak too much to that. I think you guys get where I'm going with that. So for me, stepping into my spirituality, it wasn't just a one-time step up. It wasn't just a one-time feeling. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ever-evolving process. Every day, since I woke up per se, if you really will, you really want to put, an actuality on it. It's been getting a lot more clear for me. I've been finding joy in things that used to aggravate me or annoy me. It's a lot easier for me to rise above it and not get so irritated so quick about it, whatever it might be. Because I can kind of understand that this is just like one little menial thing. And if I harp too much on it, or I get wrapped up in the frustration or the aggravation of the moment, I'm only calling into existence continued frustrations, continued aggravations, and then maybe by the end of the day, I feel exhausted and entitled to lash out at somebody, or, you know, self-medicate in a way that maybe isn't the most healthy for us, whatever that might look like. I'm not saying that everybody does that or whatever, but just in ways that we deal with it, we kind of lead ourselves to wherever we're going. So to kind of be mindful, or actually be very mindful about this, being woke, awake to all of the synchronicities happening, all of the things that are literally every second, every moment, every corner that you turn, every song that comes on the radio or your phone, everything, every person that you come in contact with that day and those days after, they're all there for a purpose if we choose to see the purpose. You know, we say that time goes really fast, but I am kind of under the understanding at this point that it's not really time that's moving fast, that always remains the same. It's our mentality, you know, our thoughts, our desires. We want to get out of the situation and we want to get into the next one. We're worried about this great situation ending. So, you know, we're already focusing on the end of it, which is in the future, calling that to existence even faster. You know, if we kind of think about it in this sense, as I'm talking, even it's just making more sense to me. So this is kind of exactly what it is being awake to the understanding that I have been conditioned to think in the way that I have. I've been taught, I've been influenced, I've been, you know, pushed this way and pushed this way. I'm kind of thinking like bumpers on a bowling alley. You know, there is one direction for you to go, but there's many ways to get there. And when you've got these bumpers, these invisible bumpers, which is, you know, culture and society and norms and resentments and anything else that might kind of keep you in the bounds of your thinking and not allow you to go outside of that, to step outside and look above your umbrella of thought and really evaluate it. Are there things that you're thinking every day and that you're doing and feelings that you're connecting to, thoughts that come up that are keeping you trapped in the same cycle? Question it. Where did it come from? Is that how you want to feel about this experience right now? Maybe it brings up a feeling of familiarity. Maybe, you know, the one that's coming to mind right now is feeling not good enough. That feeling is present for a lot of people. And, you know, to kind of understand and evaluate, where's the first time maybe that feeling came about? And maybe you don't even remember. It could have happened when you were two years old. And if we have that feeling within us, every single time that feeling comes up for us thereafter, the memory or the moment that is happening when we feel that feeling, it gets like stapled to that feeling. So by the time we're 20, 30, 40, 50, consider how many memories or moments or situations have been stapled to that feeling. So there's a lot of different examples of things that can bring up that feeling, and all it does is really shine a light on that feeling. And I'm still considering feeling not good enough because I feel like this is a big issue for a lot of us. And you know, if we're continuing to shine the light on that feeling and bring it into existence when it's not really here, it's just a feeling, and feelings are not facts at all. It's very, very important to understand the discernment between the two. Just because it feels like something doesn't mean that it is actually something or that something specific. So just kind of being awake to the idea of that. I feel like I'm going to go all over the place right now because I'm not actually talking to a person. It's much easier for me to talk to a person about these things instead of this little AI guy here. So just bear with me. I'm sure my videos will get a little bit more I'm at a loss for words. I'm going to call it flowy for now. But this is exactly what I want everyone to see. I don't want to edit this out. I don't want this, you know, to look like it was perfectly polished from the first time I ever did this. I also am interested in my transformation. I want to see what my videos look like from 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 4 months from now, la, la, la. So I want you to kind of join me in that journey as well. Maybe it'll inspire you to not take yourself so seriously and be easy with yourself. A lot of us are trying to run before we walk or crawl, and consider a baby. How far do they get when they're trying to run before they've mastered the art of walking? They run like run like a little zombie, and you're just waiting for the moment that they plant, and you hope to God that they don't smack their face on the floor. This is no different for us, and anything that we're trying, anything that's new for us, anything that is foreign, it's all the same. It's exactly the same principle. So going back to being woke, stepping into my spirituality, that also came with being fearless. Being fearless with my courage. I do feel like I'm very courageous. I do feel like I'm a very brave person. And fear is something for me, and I would think that it's universal, that kind of dictates how deeply you can fall into that feeling of bravery or of courage. Because as soon as you step into it, or as soon as you metaphorically open that door or open that channel, get in your rowboat and start trying to row down that river, there's a lot of things that are going to come up in your path that are going to be like, oh, excuse me, you don't know better, or, it's going to be a rock that you didn't realize that was there, or a bump underneath your boat, or you're going to trip and fall over something that you didn't even see. Somebody, and what I mean by these some things and some whatevers, it could be people, it could be memories, it could be actual physical things that get in your way, it could be, anything really that's causing you to second guess walking through that door that you purposely opened for yourself because you genuinely are interested in what's behind it. Maybe you've never explored it, or maybe you have, and something steered you away from it. Something told you to slam the door as soon as you opened it. So now you have this memory and this feeling attached that anytime you walk into or try to step into your power or step into the unknown, that you're going to get scared away again, or that it's not for you because you've already tried that and it didn't work. But I would encourage you to try it again, challenge you even to try it again. A baby doesn't just fall down once and then never decide to start walking again. What do you do when a child does that, or a baby does that? If you have any experience with that, or even if you don't, what would you do? If a baby, you try to stand him up on his feet and he's getting excited to walk and he falls down and then doesn't ever want to try again. Well, now you're stuck carrying that baby forever, or at least catering to the fact that it has chosen to make a decision based on its very first experience, one and only experience with it. And maybe even just a couple times. It's not just saying like one and done, but a lot of people do that, myself included. Nobody really likes to get into things that they're not good at, but that's an egotistical barrier that we need to be able to break down. We're training ourselves to believe how we believe. And there's a lot of outside influences. There's a lot of things that impact, how we choose to believe about ourselves and what we feel about what we believe when we put something out there that we're doing, that we're new at or we're excited about, and people don't understand it, and they're kind of like, okay, get this girl an intervention. She's lost it. That's how I'm feeling really at the moment. I kind of went a little public with my spiritual awakening and spiritual breakthrough here, not intentionally, but kind of intentionally. I think vulnerability is the bravest thing that we can do. And when you can put yourself out there in something that is for you, you just know it's right. It feels right. Your gut is okay with it. It just makes sense inside of you. You're waking up to the realization that you are as powerful as you believe. And, that is part of being woke. Understanding that we've probably lived our lives up to this point or a certain point dictated and influenced by other people's opinions and perceptions. We always have our own, but it's really tough to follow when even the people closest to you aren't really in fully support. They don't understand what you're doing. They're kind of telling you to like, yo, chill out, slow down, don't invest so much energy into that. Maybe you should consider putting your energy into something that's going to better serve you. You seem like you've lost your mind. And that's it. You do want to lose your mind. You fucking want to lose your mind. I'm going to try not to curse too. Sorry, but I got a pretty bad sailor mouth. I'm going to work on that. I know it's a little off-putting. I apologize. But now I lost my train of thought. It's going to come back to me. So again, purposefully not editing this out because I need to see this. I want you guys to see this. I'm sweating. It's a mess right now. Let me try to kind of spin back to what in the world I was talking about, because I can ramble, but hopefully in due time I'll be able to really channel these thoughts and organize them. But for now, this is kind of like, I guess, almost like a video diary of my beginning. So waking up, to even that, just being vulnerable and being okay with people not understanding you. That is, I kept saying that this week. I don't need everybody to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, as long as at least one person understands. And I've got more than one understander and one supporter at this point. So I kind of do feel like I'm on the right track. Actually, I know I'm on the right track. My insides are telling me that. But we kind of tend to put too much emphasis on that exactly, that, who's in support of me. And if you're in support of you, then go for it. Do it, because I can guarantee you that there is an invisible someone, and that's someone that is who I choose to call the universe, the universal powers that be, the energies that be. The universe is always listening. The universe is always watching, always with you, always synchronizing with you. And when you live in accordance with your destiny, your purpose, your soul's intention, you're waking up to the infinite possibilities, the infinite gifts of the universe, the infinite wisdom that you'll achieve just by allowing yourself to genuinely listen to yourself. And of course, you do want to take into account of others, because if you're on this journey and maybe you don't have anybody supporting you, or the supporters that you do have are fanatical and also looked at in some type of way by many, 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 many people. I'm not just, again, this is hard to explain in just one format. So kind of go with me here and expand the perception of everything that I'm talking about, relate to it in many different ways. I'm not just, don't have to relate to it in the exact way that I'm talking about it. But it's really tough when you have a lot of people, or not everybody that you want is in full support of what you're doing. And that right there is also what woke me up to the importance of being humble. Just because I have gotten myself to this wherewithal through, purposeful intention and really dissecting my thoughts and my feelings and the energies that are coming through me and that I continue to invite. I had to really make, a lot of internal choices about what am I going to do with all this? So now what? So I know this, so now what? And that was kind of somewhere where I sat and I felt like I was in a mental tornado for almost a month. It was horrible. I was lashing out at people. I couldn't stop talking about these things without crying, because I was so passionate about my new understanding that anybody that didn't want to know or didn't care to know, I wanted to, and I felt so compelled to shake them and help them understand and almost channel my understanding to them, because it helped me so much. But that's just it, that's for me. And I don't need to make sure that everybody is on the same cloud as I am in order to continue to float. Everybody's on their own cloud, and I'm not anyone to say that I'm higher or lower than you. It's all perspective. So to kind of take that into consideration, and you don't want to do things in silence, because accountability is a really, really healthy thing to have. And you can't really be genuinely accountable when you're the one making the rules and then holding yourselves accountable. This reminds me of like the fact checkers. Who's fact checking the fact checkers? Are you questioning what you were taught, or did you just eat it and say, okay, well, I've never heard that before, so I'm just going to take it and run with it because nobody's ever said anything to me about that before. So why not question, or why question it? Why not question it? Waking up to the idea that you have a lot of internal power if you choose to tap into it. And the way that you do that is by taking full control, or at least the control that we do have, because we don't really have control of a lot other than how we respond to things. And I say respond because reacting is different. Reacting, I feel, is out of control. I'm not in control of, where my emotions went when something triggered me and it brought up a memory and now I'm reacting to it. That's a really quick thing. So for me, responding rather than reacting is part of being woke, if you will. There's 1,000 other things that I think, are a part of being woke, but I really don't want to ramble too much in this. I'll probably do another video on this because I need to watch this and see what in the world I talked about. I really want and I'm interested in and open and hoping that people chime in. Please comment or share with me what being woke means to you. Maybe I'll do a little, write those things down and do a whole video about where I talk about each person's point, because helping myself connect to other people's understanding is what helps me grow. I'm thinking of a root system at this moment. A tree or a plant doesn't just have one set of roots. It's got the 2 tap roots, and from there it reaches out, and any source of nutrition or any source of value within, the underground realm that's going to be helpful for that plant, it connects to, and that's what's going to help it grow. So that's kind of how I feel about connection with other people. If I'm just one-sided in my perspective and it's everything I read is what I believe and I think this, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different than the other people that frustrate me when they're being closed-minded, because that would be, right? That's exactly what that would be. So for me, I invite as many people that feel like commenting on this as possible, as many of you that want to share what woke means to you. I'm more than interested. I love different perspectives. It takes a village to raise a child, and I feel the same way about growing as a person forever and ever. If we grow alone, we become self-righteous, we become entitled, we become fanatical because we are so scared of someone else's perception, because we don't really have the emotional capacity to deal with an alternative opinion because we've never considered it before. We are so stuck in ours and digging our heels in the moment that somebody comes at us with something that doesn't make sense to us, or that kind of knocks us, out of our root system a little bit. But I would encourage you to kind of tap into the things that frustrate you. I've learned that frustration and resentments and the things that bother us are one of our biggest teachers, if not the biggest teacher. When we meet something with anger or frustration, it's because it's, kind of like, I'm thinking going across a rumble strip when you're driving on the street, that little side patch, and it's kind of like, whoa, like, oh, shoot, just woke me up a little bit. I feel like, and then you kind of like, jerk the wheel a little bit, maybe overcorrect yourself, being too hard on yourself, aka master of that. And kind of talk to put more pressure on myself, because I felt like the more pressure I put on myself and the more that I'm deeply watching myself and making sure that I'm not stepping out of line at all, the faster I'm going to get it and the better I'm going to get it. But that ain't it either. It's about taking in everything, just kind of sitting back and allowing these, synchronicities to happen for you. And as they do, it is your job as a woke individual to pay attention to these, to be awake to all the signs that are pointing you in, the direction that you are heading, whether that's where you want to be going or where you don't want to be going. I'm going to try to refrain from using right and wrong, because I don't really believe that there's a right or a wrong way to live. It's, to me, I like to look at it as healthy or unhealthy, purposeful or not. I would think that most people would like to be healthy, or most people would like to feel like they have a purpose. So if what you're doing when you evaluate it, time in and, time out, at every moment that you can, first of all, time will slow down. Days will go a lot slower for you. And second of all, you might be able to loosen your grip on yourself a little bit. Not be such a tyrant for your own growth. A seed doesn't grow the day that you plant it, nor the moment that you water it, and it certainly doesn't grow any faster if you continue to badger it and yell at it, and check on it time and time again. It just calls you, it calls a space for you to be hypercritical of every movement that little seedling's going to take, from the time that it peaks above the surface. And so as you are growing, which is a never-ending process, I would encourage you to just kind of be aware, be awake to what's going on around you, what songs are coming on the radio when you're in a certain thought process that you want to be in. Is the sun out? Is it not? Is it, where are your feelings at? Are you seeing, butterflies or dragonflies, or noticing things in nature that you never really did because you were too in your head, or, somewhere else. I do believe 1,000% that Mother Nature is our best teacher. And the best part about that is that she's available 24/7. 24/7. She never takes a day off. And so, when we're kind of challenged with something, I would encourage you and us and everyone and everything to, kind of ask. If you're at ends with something or you're confused, ask the universe, ask for help. What am I supposed to get out of this? What do I need to pay attention to in order to get me to the next level? Where do I go with this information? What do I do next? Ask the question, put the intention out there. Your thoughts are the rocks that create the ripples, and the ripples are the intention. So what kind of ripples are you sending out? Because eventually that ripple is going to hit a boundary. It's going to hit an edge, and when it does, it's going to send the vibration back to you. It's going to send the ripple back in your direction. So make sure that when you're sending out your thoughts, your intentions, your behaviors, that the ripple effect you're creating isn't a negative experience that's going to come back to you with and create more confusion and more frustration, and encourage you to step out of your power because it's just too difficult. It doesn't make sense. It's uncomfortable. Getting comfortable with uncomfortability is my answer for everything. I had a cop ask me that one time, a random thought that just came through. I had a cop ask me that one time when he pulled me over and he was talking to me about my life, my job, and asked me what I do. And before he let me go, he asked me, what's one piece of advice that you can give me just to end all be all? And I said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's the answer. If we can sit in uncomfortability, there's everything for us to learn there. Committing to your comfort zone will kill you. It will kill your joy. It will kill your motivation. It will kill your tenacity. It will kill everything but your shame. Your shame and your guilt, because the longer that you sit in your comfort zone, the longer that you're going to be practicing something that isn't challenging. And if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop it here because I'm kind of going to ramble at this point. I think I said what I wanted to say. If you've gotten through this, thank you. Thanks for sticking it out with me. Give me some suggestions, feedback, anything, good, bad, or indifferent. It keeps me humble. It keeps me learning. It keeps my growth channels open. Please, whatever you got for me. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my Gen Talk.